You are gonna regret you ever asked for this video because I'm gonna spend the entire thing info dumping about Amanda. So, I have seen people ask for what my favourite films are, what my favourite TV shows are, and spoiler alert, you're gonna forget you asked because I'm gonna start info dumping and and they're all obscure films that no one's ever heard of anyway, so sorry. Now, half of these films are nostalgic films of mine. Two out of the five I've chosen today are childhood favourites, and they're still favourites to this day. And two of them include the absolute love of my life, Amanda Plummer. I am obsessed with this woman, by the way, if you didn't know. I've seen everything she's ever been in. No, I'm not kidding. I made 3 lists, not 1, 3. I've rewritten it 3 times. I have made the only consecutive timeline of her entire career. There is nothing as detailed as my list on the internet anywhere. It's all handwritten. I've seen everything. I know everything off by heart. I am insane. Can you tell I'm autistic? But yeah, 2 of these films involve her, so sorry. And also, this one was in a lot of fucking weird films, so get ready. Now, when I sat down to decide what films I wanted to talk about in this video, I tried to create a list of like my first favourite to my 5th favourite, but I realised I couldn't because I've got a top 1, but the other 4 I can't really rank above each other. I've got like my number 1 favourite and then my 4 second number 1 favourites. So, and one of these isn't even a fucking film, it's a Broadway musical, but I wanted 5 instead of 4, and I couldn't think of another film I liked as much as this musical. So, whatever, this is my channel, can do what I want, okay? So let's start with what I consider to be my all-time favourite film. And this has been my favourite film since I was about 7, maybe. It's been a long fucking time. Ask my parents. I used to play this film on a loop and they hated me for it. But it is 1997, A Simple Wish. It's so fucking special to me, this film. If anyone's ever seen it, by the way, please fangirl with me about it in the comments because I love it so much. I'm the only person, probably ever I think, I'm pretty confident I'm the only person ever to cosplay from this film. I can still quote it backwards to this day, honestly. I could just play the whole film in my head at this point, not even need to watch it. I know all the words already. But brief summary, it is about a girl called Annabelle who is played by the same girl who played Matilda. This is the year after Matilda. But she is the daughter of a father who's an aspiring Broadway actor, and he says, right, I'm going to audition for this one last play, this one last musical, and if I don't get this role, we're going to go and move to a different part of the country, and I'm not going to be an actor anymore. And the little girl doesn't want this, so she wishes for a fairy godmother, and her fairy godmother shows up, but he's actually a dude called Murray, who's played by Martin Short. And there's also a plot about the villain is played by Kathleen Turner, who is, I don't know what you guys know her as. I know her as Claudia from A Simple Wish. Apparently she's been in Friends. She voices Jessica Rabbit, of all fucking people. But yeah, Claudia. And she is the evil villain, and she was a fairy godmother, but now she's a witch, and she's trying to steal all the fairy godmother's wands. But Murray has her original wand, and she wants that back. And here's the part where I love. This is gonna make me sound like I'm a fucking fairy. I am not a fairy. For some fucking reason, Claudia decided to turn her pet dog, she has a Yorkshire Terrier, she decided to turn her into a human. And now, who is that dog played by? That's right, my love of my life, Amanda Plummer. This is, well, the first thing I ever saw Amanda in, and I've loved her ever since. So this is why it's so special to me. But that fucking character, I wanted to cosplay her before I even knew what cosplay was. Like, it was a childhood dream for me to dress up as this character. Obviously, obscure film, no one's gonna make that fucking costume, are they? So I did it as a grown-ass adult, and I have no regrets because it gives me so much happiness to this day. But this is a bit of a side note. This is me in for about Amanda. But I went on a bender again as an adult, rewatched it, remembered why I loved it so much as a kid, and after a while I wasn't just content with watching A Simple Wish on a loop. I wanted more content, but I couldn't just do that thing, you know, where you like a character and you just kind of fall in love with the actor instead. Like, you just kind of transfer your like of the character to the actor themselves and watch everything else they've ever been in. Didn't think I could do that because the thing I liked about that character was that she's absolutely as mad as a box of fucking frogs. And I was like, no one acts like that in real life. That would be ridiculous. So eventually, one of these days, I watched an interview with Amanda herself, just because I wanted to see what she was like in real life. For some reason, I had it in my head that she'd be like a really like serious, well-respected actress. I thought she'd be like really boring and serious, and I wanted to see the contrast. And also, she's got quite a unique voice, and I wanted to see what she actually sounds like if she was putting it on or not. Watched one interview with her. Turns out she's not that different in real life. She's absolutely insane, and I love her to death. She's just such an eccentric woman, and I love her. I love her so much. If you guys want a video of me in for dumping about Amanda, I will make it because I will not shut up. Now, before I get too deep in my Amanda rabbit hole, let's go on to film number 2, which isn't a childhood favourite. If this was a childhood favourite film, that'd be quite concerning because this is don't watch this film if you're under 18, okay? It's very graphic, let's just say that, and not graphic in a gore way. It's very sexual. Because the first thing I ever saw Amanda was a children's film, I wasn't really expecting her to be in a lot of weird indie films. She's in a lot of weird indie films, and a lot of them are kind of 18 plus sexual wise, so I don't know why I like Hysteria as much as I do. It's the same way as Simple Wish, by the way. Talk about contrast, but I love Hysteria. It's about it's like a mental hospital, and there's this doctor who's got the world's most annoying patient, Veronica. I fucking hate Veronica. She pisses me off. But anyway, the doctor falls in love with his patient and takes her to this hospital where this doctor's gone a bit mad, and it's like a insane asylum in the hills kind of vibe. And he's got this thing going where he implants chips into people's heads, and they call it a group mind, like they're all kind of linked mentally via these chips, and Amanda is there, and there is someone watching this video who's going to know exactly what I'm talking about because I made him watch this film. This character in this film, Amanda's character in this film, inspired my favourite OC, and I don't know, it's just special to me. I think she's really cute in this film. Fucking fight me. Fucking fight me. I don't know why I like Hysteria as much as I do. I just do. I like it a lot. I shouldn't tell people to watch this because it's weird, but watch this only if you're over 18. Please do not watch it if you're a minor. My gosh. But sorry if this doesn't make any sense, but Hysteria. It's a good film. I don't know why it's a good film or why I like it so much, but it is. I promise. I like it. It's special, okay? You'll be very glad to know that I've now shut up about Amanda, for now. But the number 3 I'm going to talk about today, it's not a childhood favourite, it's not got Amanda in it, but it's obscure, just like the rest of them. Did you know that Rocky Horror has a sequel? Yes, it fucking does. It is called Shock Treatment, and it is one of my all-time favourite films. I think, this is a controversial opinion, I think Shock Treatment is better than Rocky Horror. There, I said it. You can bite me if you want, but Shock Treatment is very much one of those Marmite kind of things. You love it or you hate it. There's a lot of people that really, really hate it, but every single person I talk to about Shock Treatment goes, oh, I didn't know Rocky had a sequel. It does. It's so good. So, basic rundown of the plot. Brad and Janet are now married. They're having marital troubles. Brad gets locked in an insane asylum. It's all set on like a TV show, on multiple TV shows. And you know how the plot of Rocky doesn't make a single bit of sense? And Shock Treatment's exactly the same. It only made sense to me after about the 4th time I'd watched it. It's quite a hard one to wrap your head around, but it's a good film. The songs are really good. Shock Treatment itself, I think, rivals The Time Warp, to be honest. My all-time favourite song is from Shock Treatment. It is Lullaby from Shock Treatment. And I named myself after Shock Treatment. Bernadette McKinley. There are 2 characters in Shock Treatment called Cosmo and Nation McKinley, who are played by Richard O'Brien and Patricia Quinn, who played Riff Raff and Magenta in the second. So yeah, I literally named myself after Shock Treatment, so it must be good. Number 4 is the last film I'll talk about before I go on to the 5th one, which is the musical. But this is an another childhood favourite of mine. As a kid, my top two favourites were A Simple Wish and this other film. And there is also video proof of me being obsessed with this film as a kid. Because there's a video of me on holiday watching a video on like a DVD player, and you can hear that me watching this film. I can also quote this film backwards. And this is probably the most well-known thing on this list, probably. More mainstream well-known. It is A Little Mermaid 2. Not the first one, the second one. I prefer the sequel. This is a common theme with me, as you can probably tell. I prefer the sequel. Essentially, this is one of the only films on here that has a plot that's easy to describe. Essentially, Ariel has a daughter. It's the reverse of A Little Mermaid, to be honest. She has a daughter that's a human girl. She wants to be a mermaid. Ursula's sister is in it, and she's really hot. Fucking fight me. Who do you guys think the hottest Disney character is? Wrong, it's Morgana from The Little Mermaid 2. You can fight me. I think that's the correct opinion. But I love this film. It's another one of those films I easily know every single word to. I quote this film a lot, by the way. I make references to it in like daily conversation, and no one understands that I'm making a reference to the fucking Little Mermaid 2. But I just really, really enjoy it. I enjoy it so much more than A Little Mermaid. Melody is kind of annoying, but number one Morgana stan, always. I have her nails, so go me. But yeah, if you've never heard of or seen A Little Mermaid 2, go and watch it, please. It's so good. And that, by the way, Morgana, one of the only characters I desperately wanted to cosplay as a child that I've not gone and then done as an adult, purely because I don't know how I'm going to do it. Like, that is obviously going to involve some body paint and some, like, defying gravity hair, and I don't know how I'm going to do it yet. I've been putting it off for several years at this point, but one day I will cosplay Morgana. You bet your ass I will. Now, this is actually my favourite musical. Not my favourite film, but I wanted 5, so I'm adding it to the list anyway. It is Gypsy, and I wrote my dissertation on this, so if anyone's qualified to talk about Gypsy, it's me. Now, if you're not a musical theatre person, you might think you don't know anything about Gypsy and you've never heard anything from it. You probably have. Number one, it's based on the mother of Gypsy Rose Leno, the famous burlesque dancer. It's a true story. If anyone's been around on TikTok lately, the audio that goes, "All that work and what did it get me?" That is from Rose's Turn, which is the most iconic number in Gypsy, but the version they're playing on TikTok is from fucking Glee, which is an absolute travesty if I do say so myself. Like, come on, there's so many good versions, but that is from that. The song Everything's Coming Up Roses, on the phrase Everything's Coming Up Roses, is from Gypsy. So there's a lot of quite popular things in there. If you've never heard of it, you've probably heard of something from Gypsy if you don't even realise it. But it is the true story of the world's craziest stage mother. I wrote my dissertation on the portrayal of Mama Rose, who is my all-time dream role. I feel like every actor has one of those I have to play this role one day or I'm gonna die kind of roles. Mama Rose is mine. I know her. If you go on my channel, the first thing I ever posted was one of her monologues. I break that monologue out every audition I do. It is my go-to. I did Rose's Turn for an audition to get into a university, and I got in with a lower pass barrier than was average. Like, I got in with like an easy mark, so that is a bold choice if anyone ever did one. But I love Gypsy because I love the build-up of it. Essentially, it's about a woman who wants to be famous, but she's old and she missed her calling, so she has 2 children and forces them to be stars instead, and the first one's annoying and fucks off in the first half, and the second one becomes a burlesque burlesque dancer. But the thing I love about Gypsy is everyone knows the iconic song Rose's Turn. It is a mental breakdown song. Mama Rose, halfway through, she just snaps. The song changes halfway through into a completely different song, and you get to see her have that breakdown on stage. And the thing I love about Gypsy so much is the build up to that. Like, you could just listen to Roses Turn by itself and it's still going to be a good song. But the thing that's so good about Gypsy is watching it and knowing that Rose's turn is coming. And then eventually you get to the dressing room scene and it's all right, miss, but there's just one thing I want to know. And I'm like, yes, give it to me. Give me the breakdown, because it's so satisfying just to see all the little things go wrong and all the pieces fall into place, and then she just snaps. And it is so good. I love women having mental breakdowns. One of my all-time favourite songs is Losing My Mind from Follies, which is a very similar kind of vibe. I love Sondheim. I got off track there, but Gypsy, it's so good. If anyone wants a video of me just analysing Gypsy, I will. I'll read you my dissertation. It's so good. Sondheim is a genius. And one last thing before I stop talking about Gypsy. Everyone, by everyone I mean me and a lot of gay men, there's a lot of references to Gypsy on Drag Race, by the way. So watch Gypsy and you'll know the references on Drag Race. But there's a lot of debates about who the best Mama Rose is, and my dissertation argued that it was Bernadette Peters. Why? Because she is the most similar to the real Mama Rose, the actual woman. And yeah, Patti LuPone is also good. It's a very different choice. She's more similar to the character created instead of the actual real woman. But also Imelda Staunton. I think she's the best actress ever. She's so good. If you don't recognise the name, she played Umbridge in Harry Potter, so you will know her. But I think she's the best actress ever. She's so good at Sondheim. She's the Bernadette Peters of England. I love Imelda Staunton. So those are my top 5. That was a mess of a video. I know, most of that was me ranting about stuff I like. If you want a video of me info dumping about Amanda, please tell me, because I will. I might make one anyway because I need to tell someone. But yeah, please watch these films. Don't watch Hysteria if you're under 18. Please don't. It's very graphic. Yes, these are my recommendations. They're all very obscure. Tell me if you've heard of any. Tell me if you like any. I also might make a video on my favourite TV shows, but I was going to include them in this video, but off the top of my head I can only think of 2 TV shows that I really like, so I'm gonna have to think about that one a bit more. But yeah, there you go.